Hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host at ultimatepapermache.com, and in this video series I'm introducing you to the projects that you'll make if you read my upcoming book, Make Animal Sculptures with Paper Mache Clay. Now, in previous videos I showed you other projects, and I showed you how the patterns help you make the actual form, the armature of your animal, so that you can actually reproduce a sketch or a photograph and come up with a three-dimensional sculpture that looks exactly the way you intended it to, and you know that it's going to look right even before you start. And I showed you how all the pieces of the pattern are put together so that you get the posture that you want. And I've also shown you in the video about the dachshund, I showed you that you can move things about, even though the pattern itself is a piece of cardboard that goes right down the middle of the body and the middle of the legs. You can still twist and turn them so that you can get a really interesting posture. Now, in this particular video, I want to show you the next step, and that is adding the clay. I've already started a second elephant. This elephant uses the exact same pattern that this one does, if I can get him over here, but you can see that the posture is different. I've moved the head, I'm playing around with the trunk, I have changed the way that I decided to let the fat and muscles move with gravity over the legs. So you can see it's got a very different posture, even though the legs are basically in the same place. I could have moved those too if I wanted to. So now we have the armature already done, and what we need to do then is add the clay. Now, right now I'm adding clay, I'll just add a bit of it here, to the ear. The ear is made, in this particular sculpture, it's made with this aluminum grid that you get at the hardware store. It was actually designed to be used to keep leaves out of your gutter, so it's really inexpensive. It's something that do-it-yourself remodelers use all the time, or just somebody who's trying to keep their house in shape. So it doesn't cost much, and a roll like this will make an awful lot of ears. But it's really handy because you can move your ears, you can bend them just about any way you want to, and get a real personality especially in elephants and dogs who use their ears in order to show their emotional state. So you just go ahead and you just put it on there like that and smooth it out. I won't do the entire ear because I think you can get the point here. Now, what I'm going to do now is, since this area here has already been done and it's got clay on there and it's dried and it's hard, I want to show you how you can use the clay to create a texture. So once the first layer is dry, or even you can do this with the first layer if you want to. I kind of like doing it in a very thin layer over the first one just because it gives me a little bit more control. I have more dry places to hold on to, basically. So you can put it on just like this. It goes on like frosting. It's really easy. It's really quite amazing material, and yet it dries just as hard as clay, I think. I mean, it's really quite hard when it's done. Now, if you wanted to make a sculpture, that's absolutely smooth and you don't want to really do a lot of sanding, you can put a piece of plastic wrap over your new clay and just smooth it down with your fingers like that. Take the plastic wrap off and you have a perfectly smooth surface. Or if you want to make a very elephant-like skin, which I like to do on this particular guy because elephants have such a cracked, dry-looking skin, you can use a little piece of that aluminum, or you can use like onions come in a mesh bag that you could use for the same thing. You're just wanting to make a kind of a random pattern on there. Smooth it off. And then you can use another little piece of aluminum screening. This is just something that I got out of my garage, and you can press that down. Trying to do this without actually being able to see it isn't hard. I mean, it isn't easy, I'm saying. You just press it down like that, and now you have a texture in your clay, and it'll dry very hard. And when you're finished and you have him painted, as you can see, I'll show you his trunk right here. It's very realistic. It's really quite amazing. Now, if you want to make fur, let's say you're making a woolly mammoth, then you just put on, well, we're going to need a little bit more. You can actually put this clay on as thick as you want to. It doesn't matter. Thicker clay will obviously take longer to dry, but you can use it to smooth over all of your bumps and crevices and strange spots. And you can then use it also to just play with it like this. To make fur. This is how I made the feathers on the dachshund's arms. Again, it's a little bit difficult when I can't see it, but you can see that you can just make any texture that you want to in this clay. And then when he's all done, you paint him. I used 2 or 3 different layers of different colored gray glazes on this guy, so they wouldn't just look like he was painted, with a flat gray, which would be kind of boring, I think. And the tusks actually weren't painted at all. That's the natural color of the clay that comes out. So there you have it. Because faces on elephants are a little bit difficult to figure out where all the planes go, I do show you in the book how to see where to put the eyes and the tusks. That was actually a challenge even for me, even though I've been doing this for a long time. So I had to actually look at the skull of the elephant in order to see where all the pieces go. And once you figure it out, that's actually quite easy. So there you have it, elephant. And tomorrow, or in the next video I should say, I'm going to show you the very last project in this book. Each one gets a little bit more challenging. This one was more challenging than Piggy. And tomorrow we're going to show you the horse. A lot of people are very nervous about sculpting a horse. Very long, skinny legs and very expressive faces. And I'm going to show you how I did that in the next video. I sure hope to see you then. Bye-bye.